Greetings from the Commonwealth of Virginia. We are right across from the Pentagon, and this is an area known as Lyndon Baines Johnson Memorial Grove on the Potomac. And we are going to head over to Washington, D.C., to an island of wonderland and flowers and some American history that goes back to the 1960s. First, let's take a look at Boundary Channel. There are some boats in the harbor. Now, Boundary Channel is what it says it is. It is the boundary between Washington, D.C. and the Commonwealth of Virginia. Right now, we are in Virginia is for Lovers. And let's talk about someone who loves flowers. Lady Bird Johnson with her daffodils. Where flowers bloom, so does hope. Lady Bird Johnson is famous for her nationwide beautification initiatives when she served as First Lady from 1963 to 1969. Across the footbridge is an island named Lady Bird Johnson Park. The island was originally named Columbia Island because it's actually part of the District of Columbia, Washington, D.C. And the waterway between the island and Virginia was dubbed the Boundary Channel. The man-made island was built in the early 1900s to facilitate the construction of Arlington Memorial Bridge. In the 1960s, Lady Bird Johnson took action through her beautification committee to coordinate the planting of over 1 million daffodils, a few thousand dogwood trees, and other native vegetation on the island. And look at how happy she looks in her daffodil-colored dress. All right, Virginia, it was nice to see you, but let's take a cross over the bridge to Lady Bird Johnson Park, and it really feels like a magical wonderland when you get there. I have been here before. I came because I was crossing the bridge from Washington to D.C. You'll see the cars over there now. And exit 10A, you can walk over by the Pentagon. And I was heading back this way towards Arlington and that Roslyn Colonial Village area. And I saw this park and I said, what's over there? Being that we were also so close to the Pentagon, I didn't even know if I was allowed back here. Security kept rolling back and forth. And then I saw this bridge. That looks like a park to me. And I wasn't asked to leave. So I never heard of this area. And so it's on the quieter side of things. It's an Easter Sunday look, which is April 9th of this year. It's the National Cherry Blossom Festival. We're crossing the boundary. We're back in D.C. Virginia did donate land for the creation of Washington, D.C., the District of Columbia, but it was returned to them because that area that they donated was too marshy. So the land that is currently Washington, D.C. was donated from the state of Maryland. So we actually are leaving the Commonwealth of Virginia, and we're still on the bridge. We've crossed over on the channel. And now we're stepping foot back in D.C. And this is, I gotta say, the real quiet side of D.C. Even quieter than the Botanic Garden. It's a great place to have lunch. Oh, the daffodils are out. Awesome. I was thinking, all right, I want to go. Thank you, Lady Bird Johnson. I saw them. They were without their leaves. Without their flowers. And I'm like, okay, I'm still going to go, but I wanted to see the daffodils. It's an Easter miracle. And I did see some cherry blossoms. The Kwanzans are not in bloom. As you can see, we are forward into spring. So I did see some of the cherry blossoms now that we're back in D.C. and it's daffodil time. Let's take a nice, beautiful look and thank Lady Bird Johnson for creating a place that we can relax and enjoy beautiful nature. How beautiful. Now, daffodils are great. They will spread and give you more bulbs. You really don't need to buy a bunch of them to create a display like this. You'll see how thick they are, you could plant a small bundle like that, and then they will fill in. Now, one of the things about daffodils, you're gonna have to dig them up every so often and separate them so that they will, well, so you're gonna have more daffodils, but so they'll bloom properly, meaning with big yellow bulbs. They are a bulb, so don't cut them down after the flowers are finished, because those leaves are still getting all of that energy which is stored in the bulb. And then what happens after the winter, it uses that energy to pop open those green leaves. So they really need to stay a full plant even after the flowers are done. They are gonna fall over and turn yellow, and you will have no plant there, but let that happen on its own. These are the dogwoods again. Thank you, Lady Bird Johnson. There's a little bit of Virginia over there. If you're wondering, where is Virginia? It's right across. Ready for it? Boundary Channel. All right, it's not the biggest of parks, but you can spend more time here. I'm not gonna walk the whole thing because I've got to sit in one of these benches and have lunch in Lady Bird Park. Oh, Daffodil Festival. Since this is a lot about daffodils, let's celebrate places where you can go and enjoy them as well. Nantucket Island in Massachusetts. Also a Commonwealth similar to Virginia. They have a Daffodil Festival. And the Nutmeg State, the Constitution State, New England's very own Connecticut has a Daffodil Festival in Meridian. Now, aside from this main path that we are walking on, there are some sidewalks, side walkways, side paths that you can take that'll go amongst the trees. Maybe a little quieter. This one looks very nice. You've got a picnic bench. Almost feels like we are in a campground area. We're right by Reagan National Airport, so you will hear lots of airplanes while you are visiting, but it's a highly recommended visit. And we're gonna check in again with the daffodils and thank you, Mother Nature, for this beautiful spring display. Till next time, keep exploring. From Washington, D.C.